Okay, we gotta see if everything's working. We have audio. Audio testing. I don't know. Can I be heard or can I not be heard? Let's attempt. I can be heard. I'm audible. Let's go. Okay. Gotta put this on Twitter and then I can get started. Can't start drawing until I get the word out. Welcome to the stream, Bradley. Thank you for showing up. Nothing's happening yet. Just gotta get things set up before all that nice stuff, all the spell drawing starts. Oh, I should probably turn the audio off on this. Yeah, no more echoes. All right, so gotta just get a little more. Right. Drawing. Spells on stream. Show up if interested. There we go. Okay. That should be good. All right. So, a while back, before I left home to come back before I left home to come back to college after winter break, I made a grievous error. I attempted to use my new fountain pen on the spellbook, and I ruined the first page, so I gotta redraw that now. So that's the subject of today. We are redrawing all the spells that got lost because I was stupid and decided ink on paper, great idea for something that's supposed to be permanent, and I can't erase anything or fix my mistakes. So did not practice enough. So we're gonna start off just recreating the old pages of my spell book. I'm gonna start with this spell. It's one of the first ones I made. It's the light bulb spell. Basically, uses levitation combined with dispersion signs to oh, what am I doing? I looked at chat, stopped checking where my pencil was. I made a rectangle instead of a square. Yes, fountain pens are absolutely horrifying. No takebacks. They spill ink everywhere. Oh, I dropped that. And yeah, they just bad experience. But you know, trying to master it. My fountain pen right there. This guy caused so much damage I can't even fathom. Where is my eraser? I need an eraser. Eraser. There we are. I think I made this one a little big, so we're actually not going to draw the light bulb spell. What's a smaller one? I could put microwave in here. So microwave is actually a pretty interesting spell. So how microwaves work IRL is that you use the microwave radiation to basically excite the water molecules inside your food. Basically, you're just heating up the water. Basically, my idea for the spell is do the exact same thing. You used what are these? Crosshair signs to make the spell target water specifically. And then you use the same arrangement of fire sigil, and radial sign you see in the Snugstone to cause it to heat the water up without causing it to evaporate and basically boil off. It's kind of a fusion of the drying spell, which basically does dry things off by vaporizing the water with Snugstone, basically. So just weakening it so it's viable. Heat your food instead of drying it out. I would not want dehydrated food. Just imagine you put your I don't know, your mac and cheese in the microwave, comes out like completely hard. I would day ruin, bro. I don't need my ramen to turn back into ramen that is uncooked. All right, what's next? So that's one spell down. Probably, let's go vacuum cleaner. I like vacuum cleaner. This is the first spell I ever made, I think, It's actually a nested spell, which means it has 2 spells, one inside of the other. When you have 2 spells, one inside of the other, they do a weird thing where they don't actually activate until both of them are closed. Don't ask me why this is the case. I do not know. But what that means is you can make complex spells and store them for later without having to worry about your inner one activating before the outer one. Linked spells actually work in the exact same way, where they only activate once all of them are closed. So they're pretty convenient. And now we got the last circle. So this inner circle in the spell, actually I'll probably describe this as I'm drawing it rather than right now. Oh, did that just break? I guess so. Unfortunate. As you can see, I can't draw circles. I use a compass. Makes my life a hell of a lot easier. I don't know why they don't use them in Witch Hat. They're so convenient. They're so nice. So basically, inner part of the spell has wind sigils with with pull signs. We see, I think, chapter 15. Coco uses grasping winds, which is this exact spell to pluck an apple off of a tree. I think they're called mountain apples or something. But yeah, she uses to pull the apples off a tree by basically just pulling the air in towards the spell. And it does that using pull signs mixed with wind sigils. So I use that in the vacuum cleaner spell to suck in the air so it can be condensed by the next stage of the spell. Yeah, so this might take a second to draw. Just gonna do the wind sigils first. Am I doing this back? No, that's fine. I'm not going for perfection here. I just, it's fine to be a little off with your spells. There's no harm in it. I'm not an actual witch, so I don't have to worry about that. This is just for demonstration purposes, so I can explain things to people. So next up, another wind sigil. There we go. All right, pull signs. So these are pull signs right here. As the name implies, they pull. In this case, air. For the vacuum part. So I wonder how centered this is. Yeah, I wish I could get the camera a little closer to the book, but I am in my dorm and I'm basically hanging the phone camera off a shelf, so this is the best I can muster at the moment. Good for making jerky? Oh yeah, that would be good for making jerky. I did not read chat. That looks scummy. I should fix that one. I say I'm not going for perfection, but every now and then I want it to be a little better. And now lastly, the last pull sign before we can move on to the next stage. Alright, so if you have a spell that's sucking in air to act as a vacuum cleaner, what are you going to do with the dust that comes in with the air? The answer is you condense it. So basically, imagine you cut the center circle out of the spell. That allows the air to get sucked in and go through here. You'd glue a bag to the back of it. So basically it all gets collected inside the cloth bag. But to make it so you can store more dust before you have to empty the bag, I basically add a second stage, which is the dust condensing spell. So how it works is it's actually a pretty similar concept to the integration or reintegration. I can never remember the name, but the spell that Tartai uses in chapter 18 to reassemble the dust particles back into the shape of a flower. Basically, it's anti-crush, so it uncrushes or condenses. And combine that with convergence signs, which, as we know from chapter 7, cause sand to get packed down and become harder. The combination of those two signs working in tandem with the earth sigil allows the dust to basically be condensed, so it takes up less space in the bag and it takes longer before you have to refill, or drain or empty your bag for the vacuum cleaner spell. This was actually the first spell I ever made, I think back in September or October of 2020, so height of the pandemic. I had nothing better to do back then. I was so bored, so I just got obsessed with Witch Hat, and here we are now. That is the story. 4 years of studying the magic system until I could get where I am now. A lot of work involved. I could not have done it without my homeboy, OK668. I don't know why I ever chose that username, but he has been an instrumental help in figuring out the magic system. We've bounced ideas off of each other for years now to figure out how things work. It took incremental gains before we could get to where we are now. Learning one thing at a time before you move on to the next. Build your base of knowledge until we actually know shit, you know what I mean? That one's bad. Let's fix that. Right now I'm drawing the crush signs. They're actually inverted, which means they're flipped around, so rather than crushing, they basically uncrush. Not exactly, because Magic has this weird rule about not being able to fix things that are broken. Don't ask me why. I don't quite know. I think it's some like fundamental law of physics. Like you can't go faster than the speed of light. You can't fix things that are broken. Not permanently, anyways. So basically, while it is the opposite of crush, doesn't mean it completely solidifies things. That's what the convergence signs are for. They allow the spell to pack down the dust, make it smaller, fit in the bag longer times before you have to refill the empty the vacuum cleaner. So there we are, vacuum cleaner spell. Label it first. How do you spell vacuum? Can someone tell me how to spell vacuum in chat? I don't ever remember my words. They elude me. I can spell microwave though. Microwave. Oh, that's very bad A. Vacuum with double U's. Thank you, Birdie. Oh, Birdie. Wait a minute. Do I know you or are you a different Birdie? There's a person named Birdie who is indirectly responsible for me picking up Witch Hat in the first place. So I'm wondering if that's you or if you're just an imposter. Tis you. Hello, Birdie. Did not know you were subscribed to my YouTube channel. Welcome. Once again, I prove I'm not a graphic designer because I cannot figure out how far my text will have to spread. Oh, wait, actually, never mind. Never mind, that's balanced. Wow, I never can pull that off. I'm proud of myself. All right. Next spell. I'm just going to do a quick throwaway one. This is, like, so basic. I don't even know why I made this one in the first place. It's so generic. It's rotation. It's as simple as it gets. Basically, wind sigil with rotated levitation sign. So that might not make sense right now. I'll draw it so it makes a little bit more. So first we got the wind sigil in the middle. Oh, actually, that's a really good wind sigil. I'm proud of myself. Oh, never mind. That is not a good wind sigil. Make of the, Zoza. Okay, so there are some spells in Witch Hat. Okay, the question is, what do you make of the Zoza Castle's anti-magic, like how it works and such? So there's a lot of spells in Witch Hat that I think Shirahama didn't really think about before she made them. So basically, like, oh, she didn't think about the design or like fully. She just kind of drew something down. That's a good number of the more complex spells, like the Forbidden Magic and some of the more complicated ones, like the Dragonfly Letter one that Uni sent to, or that Elira showed off, or the Parroting Pouch, the little talking pouch thingy, and the Seal Chair spell as well. So they're like more complicated spells. Generally, they don't have designs that I can discern because they're so she doesn't really think them through, or they're really complicated. And so I can't like reverse engineer them, figure out how they work. The spell in the Zoza Castle is the exact same kind of spell, like where it would be really hard to figure out even if I could see the design. And if I did, it probably wouldn't be fully thought out. But even then, you don't see the spell at all. So I have no idea how it works. Oh, wait. So I do have a theory. There's been a theory that a few people have proposed over the years that magic operates in fields. Basically, we see a few spells, like when you have an inverted spell, and you have one spell here, which is like water sigil, like column signs facing inward. Then on the other side, you have another water spell, but the column signs are flipped around. When you put them together, they end up canceling out, basically countering each other. And they just like basically nullify each other because they're opposites, like 1 plus -1 equals 0, that kind of thing. So the thought process behind that is some people think that magic operates in fields based on that interaction. And if that is the case, the spell in the Zoza Castle is probably a giant field disruptor for magic, but we honestly don't know if fields are even a viable like explanation for how magic works. So we can't really make heads or tails of it. A lot of spells that are more complicated like that, we just don't know them yet. because the only way to figure out a spell is to actually look at the design for it. All right, what do I draw now? I guess I could draw a heater. What am I doing? Okay, I had a momentary lapse of focus. So next up, we're drawing the heater spell. So this next spell, imagine Snugstone, but for the air. Actually, I should probably redesign the spell now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, that would be a good idea. So, oh, is my roommate back? No, he's not. Wonderful. So my original design was just having a wind sigil with basically the signs from the Snugstone spell drawn beside it to basically like heat up the air. But now I'm thinking if I put a crosshair sign to actually heat up the air itself rather than the thing the spell is drawn on, that would make it way more effective as a space heater spell. That is a wacky wind sigil. Let's fix that. This is why I am not using fountain pen, even though I have one, because if I made a mistake like that, I would have to scrap an entire page like I did last time. So next up, probably column sign so I can blow the wind. Make the wind. So basically, as the spell is now with column signs and a wind sigil, it would make basically a jet of air moving up from the spell. Like that's how it would operate as it is currently. But if I want to make that air hot, should I do a linked spell? Nah, I'll just do one. I'm trying to think right now if I want to make this. I'll just make it. Yeah, I'll just do this. So basically, what I was debating internally was whether I wanted to make another spell to heat the air separately from the one that's blowing and just link it together, or if I wanted to draw the heating part inside of the wind spell. I'm going to draw it inside, just for, it's not complicated enough to really warrant that kind of spell architecture, so I'm just gonna go the simple route. So first we need the fire sigil, draw it real small. Real small. 1, 2, oh, that's not centered. 2, I don't care. Yeah, I do a little bit. 3, 4. Oh, that's bad. Bad angles. 4 fire sigils. We want radial to weaken them so they don't burn you, so they heat the air instead of burn the air. I need water. So they heat the air instead of burn it. Oh, that's better. And then we will have the crosshair signs to make it target the air specifically for heating. I have messed this sign up 3 times. What am I doing? There we go. Fire sigil. All right, now the radial signs. On to the next part. We have to draw 8 of these, unfortunately. So radial is weakening the fire sigils, targeting them specifically because they're pointing in towards the fire sigil. And then I'll add crosshair somewhere. I'm gonna have to figure out where to put it exactly, but you know, future me problem. Okay, so this is what the, is my roommate back? No. This is what the heater spell looked like originally, but now what I'm gonna do, crosshair sign, there we go. And there we have it, the new heater spell. Just to heat the air and blow it like a space heater. Heater. How did I spell that before? How did I forget how to spell the word heater? What is wrong with me, bro? College is melting my brain. Don't be an engineering major, kids. It is hell on earth. Heater. I can't have good handwriting. Such is my life. Alright, so we got microwave, we got rotation, we got vacuum cleaner. Am I drawing these big? I might be drawing these slightly large. I am drawing them slightly large. I should probably tone that down so I can fit everything on the page. Next up, do I need to draw a pot stir? That one's kind of lame. We'll do, fuck it, we'll do Earth Bridge. Earth Bridge is hella complicated. All right, so next up we have Earth Bridge. How big should this be? Slightly smaller than, yeah, that works. So from there to there, nope. That works. Central Earth Sigil, first part. The Earth Bridge spell functions to create a bridge made out of, earth. So, rock, dirt, sand bridge, floats in the air. You can cross it, you can walk along. So this spell is actually kind of a fusion of several. First up, we're gonna add So there's a spell called Wall Bend. Wall Bend is a little interesting because of what it does. It basically makes the wall. So imagine you have like a bed sheet, right? And the bed, that's a bad analogy. Let's think about this. What's a good analogy for this spell? You know what? I could just show you Wall Bend. All right, let's look it up on Twitter. I don't think I have Wall Bend from @chromatic _flare. All right, media. Here we have it. All right, so right here you see Kifri using Wall Bend to bend the wall. And the central sigil, or central sign in this spell, is, where is it? Do I have it here? Do I have it on Twitter? Did I send it ever? No, I did not. Well, okay, I'll just draw it. So this thing that I'm drawing right here is the sign from the Wall Bend spell. What it actually is, or at least what we think it is, it's a fusion of the bend sign and the ribbon sign, or the weave sign. So basically, it bends the wall and turns the wall basically to a giant ribbon and lets you bend it as well. But if you did this on its own, as it is right now, it would just kind of turn to silly putty in a way. It would be like the entire wall gets bendy, stretchy, and in that state, you wouldn't really be able to move the entire wall all at once. You'd probably move only one part, like you're grabbing silly putty and stretching it. So in order to make it unified and to make these signs stick to the wall, you use a bind sign, or a bind sign. So bind signs are really freaking hard to draw. So this will take a second. What bind does is it basically makes we have two theories for what bind does, but both work for the intents and purposes of the spell. The first, that's bad. I drew that wrong. So the first theory for bind is that it basically acts to make a spell stick to an object. Basically think of it like glue. The other theory is that it reinforces an item, so it makes the entire thing one solid object. Think turning a brick wall into one chunk of rock. So instead of removing a single brick, the entire wall gets moved. That kind of thing. So that's the bind sign. I did not draw that well at all. Next up, I don't know, strengthen? Oh, I drew strengthen wrong. That's interesting. Okay, that's a really bad bind sign. It's fine, no one cares. Who's gonna check my homework? OK668, he's chill. He doesn't care. No one else understands this spell, except for him. So I don't have to worry about it. So now we have pull signs. These basically help to stretch the rock. So this part makes the rock stretchy, this part makes the rock one solid object, and also makes it bendable. These pull signs, which are pointing outward so they become push, now make the wall go forward instead of just sitting in place. Remember, the whole purpose of the spell is to create a bridge made of earth. So the stuff we have currently helps the spell to make a single cohesive outward-facing movement of the earth. So basically, you take the ground, stretch it forward, that's your bridge. But as things are now, you could not walk across this thing. It would break, and it would also be unsteady and unstable. So what we do is we add float signs, aka stability. So what these do, they both stabilize it so it stays facing upright, so it doesn't fall over, and they also make it so it floats. There's two variants of it. I don't know what exactly the difference is, but I know that together they do both the float and the stabilized thing. So first we're going to write the ones, I think these are the stabilized ones. I am not completely certain. They do not make it easy to figure out which was which in the manga, because we have to basically just reference spells and build from there. So if we think of it like a math problem, if you're solving for x and y at the same time, you can know what both x and y together are, but you can't know what they are individually, because you need to solve for each variable, just like in a math problem. So if both of them are in the same spell, we can't figure out the exact function of each, so we're kind of stuck. All right, next up, we have this. So an inward-facing region sign. This makes it so the spell affects things within the ring. And then we have outwards facing region signs. These make it so the spell actually affects stuff outside the ring. So basically what we have here, oh, that's really bad. That's really bad. So basically by putting these in, instead of the spell just affecting what's directly under it, it also affects the stuff out to the side. So you can make a bridge wider than just the glyph. Yeah. If we didn't have these, you would be walking on a balance beam, not a bridge, and that would be very counterproductive. Or, well, I mean, dangerous. Maybe not counterproductive, but... Why am I making them bigger? I am not good at drawing. Alright. Asymmetrical, but that's not a big deal. Okay, what's next? What's next? Alright, just because I have trust issues, so I'm going to add column signs facing this way, so the spell kind of shoots forward more. I don't trust pull on its own to achieve the desired result, so I'm going to add these forward facing column signs. By the way, this spell is really weird. Like, most spells don't look like this at all. This is just me pushing what I know to the absolute limit and being absolutely, like, insane about it. All right, so next I want to make sure these are perfect 45-degree angles. We'll use this. Okay, so we got this. Next up, we're drawing the strengthen signs. Basically, these will both help to make the bridge itself more sturdy. Well, they'll either help to make the bridge itself more sturdy or to make the spell more powerful. We don't know which one strengthen actually does. We do know it makes spells more powerful, but we also suspect that it's possible that it also makes objects more durable. And either one would be good for a spell that makes a bridge. But, you know, hopefully I'm kind of banking on the physical durability part a little bit more than the spell is stronger part, you know, because I don't really trust the bridge. It's a bendy bridge. It's like a bendy, flexible bridge. I kind of want it to be a little more sturdy. Oh, I should have convergence signs to do that. Okay, yeah. So since it uses the bend sign, or the bend ribbon hybrid sign, it's like stretchy. I kind of explained that already. But to make it so it's not, we will be adding convergence signs as well. These are also more of these region signs from before, just to make it so the spell affects stuff in front of it, too. I'm kind of just going for it. I'm not, like, being super careful. It's kind of weird. I'm normally more careful when I draw spells, but honestly, I don't mind doing it quickly. It's not like it's the end of the world. I need to look at the strengthen sign. I need to remember which direction it points. I can't remember if it's in or out. Strengthen faces in. Okay, we're fine. Wait. Oh, shit. I almost drew it backwards. All right, I'm glad I checked that. Jesus Christ. So we first saw strengthen in the Volume 12 Special Edition. We saw it used on the, what is it? The silver binding capture pennant, whatever they're called, that the knights use. They use a strengthen sign on their pennants to make them stronger, I guess. Like, the name kind of speaks for itself. Where is this image? I'm looking for the image of the spell. I know I have it somewhere. When in doubt, check the wiki. Alright, witch hat. Nah, alright. Capture pennant spell witch hat atelier. Atelier, my bad. Alright. Behold the spell. These are the strengthen signs I mentioned. They're actually connected to a weave sign, which is pretty neat. Basically, the weave sign makes the spell, makes it so the banners can, like, wrap around stuff. The strengthen sign just makes them stronger. So I'm using the strengthen signs to make the bridge stronger. I kind of went on a tangent there. Wonderful. I love tangents. What am I doing? The ADHD is hitting hard, guys. I can't think. All right, so strengthen sign number 1, numero uno. Excellent. Strengthen sign numero dos. What is the word for strengthen in Spanish? I used to know this. I took Spanish for 4 years, 5 years in high school, and I forgot most of it, which is very unfortunate. Birdie said something. I will read your message after I finish drawing, Birdie. I smeared it. I smudged. Meh. Grr. No fun. I don't like smudges. I can't draw. What is happening to me? Okay. Final line. Bada bing. Bada boom. Good enough. You know what? Good enough. And the strengthen sign is complete. As soon as I There we go. No, I did nothing. I did literally nothing. I missed. My aim is not true. Whatever will I do? Alright, Birdie said, when in doubt, check the wiki. Yep. I am literally the wiki writer, bro. Okay, so Birdie, even though I did write the wiki, that doesn't mean I remember literally everything I've ever written. You know, you take math, imagine you're like in a math lecture, right? And you take notes on the lecture. You're gonna forget some of your notes. You have to go back, check your notes sometimes. Refresh your memory, jog your mind, you know? It's the same kind of thing. Except, I am both the teacher and the student at the same time, which makes things a little harder. But, you know, we win some, we lose some. I do not remember where this is supposed to be. I have lost my sense of center. My brain cannot handle symmetry. It loses track of where is where and when is now. Time management. Should I be drawing spells right now? Or should I be doing homework? Such is the question I ask myself. Alright, last one. Oh, I need my thing again. There we go. That is my center points. Oh, I dropped it on the floor. I don't care. Now the last strengthen sign to make the spell stronger. And then we're adding float signs. Yippee, that is, my hand is covering this. Strengthen sign. Next will be convergence to increase the hardness. So that spun more than I thought it would. Alright, that one's weird. Oh well. So convergence sign. It's not an equilateral triangle. That's like almost a right triangle. I don't care. Convergence sign. So convergence in the Dragon's Bed of Sand we see in like chapter 7. They were like considering whether or not to use convergence to make it so the sand cloud that the dragon was going to sleep on would not collapse. Basically like, oh, dragon sits on the cloud collapses. Oh no, bed is broken. What will we do? And they considered using convergence to pack the sand down, make it a little more durable. But if they did that, it would make it too hard. And my thinking is, if using convergence on sand makes it too hard to sleep on, maybe using convergence on the earth bridge will make the earth bridge stronger. So, my thought process, laid bare. I kind of like the small triangles next to the big strengthen sign. It makes me happy. Ooh, there's not much room for float. Whatever will I do? Let's have a slightly asymmetric spell. The spell is already asymmetric. Like, it's got mirror symmetry. It's not radially symmetric at all. Like, at this point, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It's already so wacky. Who cares? Where do I put this exactly, though? I'm trying to figure out where's a good spot. All right, we'll do it here, I guess. Float sign, float sign, float sign, float sign, float sign. Oh, the float signs, what they do is they literally just make the thing ignore gravity. So if I want my bridge to be strong, might as well make it ignore gravity, you know? It'll still have to support the weight of the things on top of it. But, you know, it's less weight, stronger bridge, better time, less dangerous. I drew those too close to the center. All right. That makes, what, 5 spells? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, what's next? So, maybe Steam Maker? Steam Maker is a possibility. Do I want to make Steam Maker, though? Sure. Oh, I fucking hate this. Okay. It's a bit pedantic, but do you think the decorative animal sigils act like real animals or something else? The big question is if a beast warding spell would affect a spell made with one of those. So, on that point, where's the fish spell? I need to find the fish spell. Okay. Fish. Did I ever make a post about it? I don't know if I did. Fish. Just looking up the word. Did I? I said the word fish. Okay. So this spell. Oh, wait, no. This isn't the one. Where's the other one? This is not the right fish spell. It uses a sign from the fish spell, but it is not the fish spell. Okay, whatever. So there's a spell that had this thing. This is basically like the summoning sign or whatever. So if I have like a spell over here that has the that has a fish decorative sign to make like a fish made of water or something, and I had the fish decorative sign on here as well and water with the attractor sign thingy, the fish, the decorative fish that I made would actually be attracted towards the glyph. So we know for a fact that you can individually target animal like decorative spell stuff, Whether that also applies to the fish, like to actual real fish in this context, I don't know. We'd need to actually see it in action, like near an animal, to like figure it out exactly. So yeah. What is next? What am I doing? Looking at, okay, I'm making the steam maker. So the thing with steam maker is it has my least favorite sigil in the, no, it's not sigil, sign in the world to draw. That is the Rainmaker rune, or the Rainmaker sign of rain or whatever. Sometimes I get it confused with, like when I started learning the magic system, I was using the scan, like the scanlation, not the official English release. So sometimes I use outdated terminology without actually remembering what the new one is. But basically there's a sign for making your spell create a rain-like effect. That is the Rainmaker rune, and let me tell you, it is a pain in the ass to draw because it is such a precise thing. I need that thing I dropped earlier. Where is it? Ah, there we are. It's extremely precise. If you get it slightly wrong, I can't. Ah, fuck. Oh, that hurt. I tried to pick up the ruler thingy, and it jammed under my fingernail, and that hurt like hell. So, the Rainmaker. What was I saying about the Rainmaker rune? I was saying something. So, Rainmaker makes your spell basically manifest as rain in a rain shape. So, like, actually, I have an example. So, if you had a spell with fire and a rain sign, for example, it would make basically fire rain, aka a firework. So you can do it for neat stuff like that. You can use it for actual water to make actual rain and like cool it down to make snow. But, you know, that's just some applications of the rain sign. So let's see. We're going to draw this. We're going to draw it, and we're not going to mess it up. Okay, Chroma, you can do this. Chroma, don't fuck up. I know you do a lot, but not this time, please. All right, we're going to make guidelines so I don't... Oh, that's too far. Yep, there we go. That really hurt my fingernail. That really hurt. I regret my choices. And now, let's just do this by eye. You know what? Screw it. We're doing this by eye. We are being a real witch. That might be a little small, maybe a little bigger. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro. Bien. Alright, one part. Didn't curve it enough. So the rain sign in the center makes rain in the air. From there, to make steam, we will manifest fire inside of it using the good old-fashioned crosshair sign. Oh, you can't see that. That's not too far. Using the good old-fashioned crosshair sign to manifest fire inside of the water. This is the third spell I've made today that does something like that. You know, good old-fashioned. I mean, what works works. You know, why not use it again and again and again and again if it's useful? I am not afraid of reusing past work. We build upon our past advancements. That is how technology works. We could have made the car without the without first inventing rubber. Compounding effect, you know. Can't make rubber without first mastering flame. Every advancement builds upon the future. Now I'm waxing poetic because I don't know what to say. Next up, we are going to be drawing for a rain spell to make steam. What are we putting inside the rain sign, I wonder? How about water? All right, water sign, water sign, water sign. This is very small. It's not to scale with the other ones. Next up, we're going to have fire sigils. Fire sigil uno. Fire sigil dos. We only put 2 in this time. We don't need 4 because I don't have space for that. Then we have crosshair to make the fire manifest inside the water, turning it into steam. Another crosshair. And then we're having the interesting one. We're going to put dispersion down. So imagine column is a hose, right? A hose in your backyard. You turn it on, water comes shooting out like really far in a jet, right? Dispersion is what happens when you put the hose inside a bucket and let the bucket overflow. You still get the same amount of water coming out at each given moment, but instead of just being a jet coming out in a stream, it kind of spills over the top. So the thought process here is by using that with the rain, we kind of make it go in all directions. So instead of shooting a jet of steam at someone, we're just billowing steam gently from the spell. No, don't want to scald anyone. I'm not sure what you would use this spell for. Maybe in a sauna or something. Might be cool. Do saunas use steam? I think they do, right? Yeah, I assume they do. I've never been to one. But you could also use it for steaming vegetables or something, or treating wood, like steaming wood so you can bend it, or what's another application of steam? There's a lot of things you can do with it. It's a very useful, I don't know, thing. I almost called it a tool, but is steam a tool? It's more of a, I don't know, force of nature. What do I do next? We have earth bridge, we have vacuum cleaner, rotation. I did not draw a light bulb yet. I don't feel like it. I'm doing that later. Steam maker, heater, cut mark 3, or 4 actually. All right, next spell is the cut spell. So imagine you're using wall breaker, which is a spell that breaks earth, breaks things down into smaller chunks. All right, actually, this is a bad explanation of wall breaker. Wall breaker is a spell that pulverizes stone down into dust. All right, so it's indiscriminate. Anything within its area of effect will be pulverized and it will be destroyed. What if I wanted to cut something in half with wall breaker? There's a pretty easy way to do that. Instead of having it so it's an indiscriminate area of effect where it's just in a circle from the glyph, what if you made it so it was confined specifically to a plane going down the center of the spell? If you could just break down the material down a plane, like down a line through the spell, then you could theoretically cut something in half. And that is where cut came in. Cut comes in. So I've actually redesigned this spell a total of 4 times as I've gotten better using the magic system. First off, we're going to start with a earth sigil, as is standard in a wall breaker spell. Is this centered? No, it is not. From the earth sigil, we will add region signs to confine the spell down to a line rather than having it emit from the glyph in all directions. I mentioned a waterfish earlier. Okay, I did not read that. All right, let's see. You mentioned a waterfish earlier. Is it possible to have a recon/surveillance tracking drone using an elemental being as the drone? So sensory, to do that you would need to somehow sense things with your spell, and there are currently spells that let you control things with your mind, but there are no spells that let you get information back into your head. Just things that let you like basically beam out instructions for how something should move. So if I wanted to make a surveillance drone, I would probably actually have to use a window way, which is literally just a portal, and cover it in glass. Basically, that would let me look through the window way, basically like a portal acting as a camera. So instead of looking out around with a camera-esque thing, you're literally looking through a portal to see through and actually look at something from afar. So window ways can be used for surveillance in that kind of way. Oh, I should probably just remove the sleeve. It's destroyed. It's toast. I have messed up drawing this earth sigil 3 times. Okay, that's much better. What do I need next? To make the cut spell, we are going to add... Should I put the column sign here? I'll put the column sign... I'll put the column sign here. No. So next up we have column. Column pointing specifically in these 2 directions. To make it so... So basically, if I want to make it cut effectively, I need to confine it to this plane. So that is what we will be doing. Next up, we're going to have region signs. Region basically controls where the spell manifests in relation to the glyph. By having... Oh, that's not the right angle. By having 2 inward-facing region signs right here, I can basically force the spell to manifest only along the center line. And that will allow me to cut things in half once I add the crush signs. I will also add convergence to make it a little bit more focused. I keep messing up that angle. It is not obtuse. It is a right angle. Right angle. Yeah, close enough. So next, the convergence sign. Converge it and make it a little more focused, a little more precise. Okay, and now what is next? Crush signs, of course, so it can crush things. Reduce to rubble along the line. Cut the object in half. Crush sign 1 and 2, that is a little improperly sized, so we will redo that. All right, yeah, those are some pretty nice crush signs. And lastly, what should I do? I'm thinking of if I should have the region signs point out and in, or should I just leave it as is? Because I'm not entirely sure. If I make the region sign point out, but don't have them pointing in, it's possible that the spell would actually only cut things outside of the circle and not cut things inside of it. So I want to try and avoid that, but I don't know if that justifies, and I'll do it anyways. So we have a region sign here, region sign there. Do I have room for that on the set? On this side, I might have to erase some things, make some more room. I did not plan in advance, once again. Oh, Chroma, why are you like this? All right, region sign. Hey, I got the angle better that time, and region sign. Hello, Super Duper. Welcome to the spell stream. I am drawing the spells, some old spells that I designed. I'm putting them back in my spell book after I accidentally trashed the first page of my last one and lost the page. So we are reattempting this. I ended up trying to use my fountain pen, and I fucked things up because you can't erase with a fountain pen, and I'm not very good at using one, so I'm ruining my page. So we're redoing everything that's been lost. This is the cut spell. It allows things to be cut in half. Basically, it's wall breaker, but focused along a single line, so you can cut things in half. All right, next spell. That is done. I should just label these real quick. Cut. This is actually cut mark 5 now. This is the 5th iteration of the spell I've made. We have Steam Maker. And then we have Earth Bridge. EARTH. Bridge. All right, next spell. So we have Earth Bridge, we have Vacuum Cleaner, third microwave. All right, what's an interesting one I can do next? One-axis expansion. All right, we'll do that one. Actually, I should put something smaller here to fill up that space. What can I put there? What's small enough? Maybe... none of these are very small. All right, screw that idea. All right, we shall put something here. All right, circle. Okay, so what spell do I put here? Oven Mitt, one-axis expansion, maybe freeze. Oh, I could have put freeze there. Freeze is small. We'll do that one later. We will do Oven Mitt Mark II. All right. So this is the Oven Mitt spell. It acts like an oven mitt, protecting your hands from hot things for when you're cooking and such. Oh no! I smudged my graphite. So at the center of the spell, we have a window sign. What do window signs do, you ask? Well, a window sign makes it so a spell only affects the object it is drawn on and not things nearby. So basically, by putting this here, we make it so only the oven mitt or the glove that I draw this sign on will be affected by the spell. And that's important because if it's not, it could potentially injure your hand or your entire body. So we're going to avoid that. That's a good thing to get rid of. So next up, we will have some cooling signs, right? Cooling. So cooling is extremely self-explanatory. It makes things colder. I should actually probably draw this bigger so it's more powerful. Larger cooling signs equal more cooling. More cooling equals better oven mitt. So it's a little weirdly proportioned, but I don't care. So that's cooling sign, cooling sign. We first saw a cooling signs in like the volume 12 bonus, the bonus content from volume 12, where we see it on the water drop buoy. I don't actually remember what the official name for that thing is, but it's basically a spell that lets you collect water from the surrounding environment, just from the air basically, and like kind of store it so you can pour it out into drinks and stuff. And it uses a cooling sign, I think, to condense the water vapor. I'm not sure if that's the actual reason why it's included, but it definitely would help condense the water vapor. And if that's not why it's there, then it's probably there just to make your water a little bit cooler, a little more refreshing, you know. Just a nice cool glass of water, straight from the tap, straight from the water vapor in the air. All right, so that's the cooling signs. They look so asymmetrical. Wow. Yeah, that is not good. Let's fix that. So after the cooling signs comes the interesting part. So what does an oven mitt do? It stops the transfer of heat. How do I stop the transfer of heat? Well, there's two methods I could do. Either I could use a warmth retention sign, which basically stops time specifically for heat. It's really complicated, but just basically it's a modified time stop spell with fire in the middle. So it just stops stops time for heat specifically, making it so things don't heat up or cool down. But what I think is a little bit more fun is using an inverted gather sign or collection sign. So what is the opposite of collecting? it's throwing away. So what if I decide my oven mitt will throw away heat? I should invert my collection signs. If I do this, it makes it so my spell will discard heat, cooling things down, making the oven mitt a little bit more comfortable, you know? Making it so you could, like, with how this spell works, you could actually just, like, literally put it on, like, the thinnest glove imaginable and still protect your hand from the heat, which could make cooking a lot easier because you'd have more dexterity and actually be able to feel things through the gloves. Okay, do you use Firefox? And if so, do you have the extension that replaces every fandom link to an indie wiki? I do not. I use Google, but I do have that extension. So we're good there. Yeah, if anyone here, to everyone here, make sure you use the independent Witch Hat Atelier wiki rather than the fandom one. The independent wiki does not run ads. It has way more content, and it is much better moderated with more accurate information. So if you care about the team that built the wiki and that and if you care about having the most accurate information possible, please use the independent Witch Hat Atelier wiki. You can find it witchhatatelier.telepedia.net. That's the URL. And if you download the Indie Wiki browser extension, you can just make sure that all links to the fandom wiki in search results will be replaced by links to the independent wiki. So yeah, check it out. Or actually, the independent wiki actually has like over 100 pages more than the fandom one. Okay, right now I'm adding radial signs with fire sigils again, just like the Snugstone. Except in the Snugstone, this arrangement heats things up, but since we have these discard signs, or the inverted collection, it makes it so the heat is actually thrown away rather than being generated. So that makes this thing nice and cool for all your cooking needs. The perfect oven mitt for any situation. There we go. Yeah, this is good. This is good. Okay, oven mitt. Technically, this is the third version of the spell. I'm just going to write oven mitt Mark II because it is close enough to the original Mark II that I don't care, and it's basically the same thing. All right, next spell. We have oven mitt, pot stir, one axis expansion, sprinkler, piston pump. All right, the rest of the spells are all kind of boring, so yeah, there's that. All right, next spell. What should we do? We are doing freeze. So let's say, I don't need that big a circle for freeze. I'll use it. I'll do it anyways. All right. Where did my circle start? Over here. Over here. There. Yeah, we got it. All right, so how freeze works, just like all these other spells that use crosshair, manifest stuff inside of water, but instead of using heat this time, we will be manifesting a cooling sign. So I doubt that cooling on its own is strong enough to actually freeze things. So what I'll be doing is slamming a bunch of strengthen signs in here, and also drawing the biggest cooling signs I possibly can. That looks very terrible. Larger signs have more power, so drawing a larger cooling sign means I get more cooling. Cooling signs on their own typically can't freeze things, as we see in the water drop buoy, but if I soup this up to the max, that's perfect. All right, see you, birdie. Later, dude. Enjoy your dinner. I should probably get mine soon as well. So here we have water sigil, cooling signs, large. Strengthen signs to make them a little bit more powerful, but I'll draw those after I do the crosshair signs. As I've mentioned before, crosshair makes things manifest inside of other things. So in this case, it'll make the cooling manifest inside of the water. So I need to finish the crosshair sign. Lastly, strengthen signs. Strengthen signs strengthen the freezing spell, make it freeze better, you know. Why have a fridge when you can have a freezer? That kind of mentality. So strengthen sign number 1. Strengthen sign number 2. Strengthen sign number 3. Should probably put that there. And last but not least, to complete the spell, strengthen sign number 4. Not the most symmetric I've ever drawn a spell, but you know what? It's fine. We win some, we lose some. Next spell is kind of interesting. It's one axis expansion. So we're going to draw that one. Basically, the idea behind this spell, there's a spell that makes things get bigger. It is the expansion spell. What if I made it so the expansion spell only went in 2 directions, basically just left and right? I can make something that instead of getting bigger, it just stretches out. So that's the thought process. You can use this for all sorts of cool applications. What's one I can name off the top of my head? So let's say, you know those like nab grabber, you know those like, how do I should just show you. Extendable arm. You know these things, guys? You know these things right here? You could basically do this, just put the spell on the on a rod, put the 1-axis expansion on it, but just make it longer. So you could do that without the weird springy, I don't even know how to describe that shape, like the weird cross beam thingy. You could also use it to, I don't know, have, let's say you're going fishing, right? You want to bring your fishing rod, but oh no, your fishing rod doesn't fit in your backpack. Whatever will you do? You put the 1-axis expansion spell on your fishing rod, or the 1-axis retraction, which would just be this spell, but with things inverted. And you can make your your fishing rod, shorten so you can store it in your bag. Yeah, lots of applications for this. Really cool spell. So I'm going to draw it. So first off, we start with a window sign. As I've said before, window signs make it so spell only affects the object it is drawn on and nothing nearby. So we do that, so it specifically targets the object we put the spell on. We don't want to be making your fingers get long we don't want to make your fingers get long. Turn these into some monster. Okay, could we make instruments? Now I want to know about magical instruments in Witch Hat. So, there's a Twitter post. There's a translation. Okay, I'll just show you. So, recently, Shirahama did a Q&A thing. And, she did mention that, so someone basically asked the question, I should probably just look up the Twitter post first. Someone asked the question, will we ever see forms of magic other than drawing glyphs and stuff in Witch Hat, like in reference to music and dancing? And Shirahama Sensei didn't give a straight answer. She was kind of vague about it. Oh, my roommate's here, so I'm gonna end the stream. Later, guys.